Okay, so here's essentially my free light box. I do not have a light box. They can be expensive. I did not feel like really sitting down and making one. So I just took a normal, $15 TV tray and one of my little clamp-on lamps and clamped the lamp upside down so it hangs under the table and is pointing directly at me. Well, at the dog at the moment. Hi, Sasha. And I have this sheet of plexiglass that was taken from an old poster-sized frame because I do tend to work large. And yes, it's a little bendy and a little flimsy, but you get used to it. You deal with working with it. It's fairly thick. I think it's 2 millimeter. 4 millimeter would work better. 8 millimeter would work best. But whatever you can find and can successfully draw on, whatever gets the job done. So there's my setup. My little TV tray, my lamp, my plexiglass, and my dog. Who will be mad if I push her out of the way here in a bit. Okay, so at this point, here's my free-handed drawing on the work surface. You'll note that I just did an outline of all the flowers and and the reflections. This is all a nice dark area that I will fill in as I go with color. But this is my first working pencil sketch. The paper's been eaten up a little bit in a couple places from erasing and making corrections, and that's okay because this is my working drawing. So now I'm getting ready to transfer it to my final sheet so I can go in with color on my really nice paper. This is just an economical sketch paper. I will be using either Canson Mitientes or Strathmore 400, possibly Stonehenge. Not really sure just yet, but for illustrative purposes, my working drawing has been taped down to my plexiglass, and you can see my lamp under here, which I'm going to turn on. See how nicely that lights up? And now I'm just going to tape my good paper right onto the plexiglass, right over my image. So now that I have my good paper taped down to my plexiglass with my working image taped below, so everything lines up nicely and stays put. Oh, and by the way, with my good paper, I only tape the top edge, which makes it easy to flip and make sure that you're actually tracing everything that you need to trace. So it is beneficial to be able to flip. So I'll be starting from the top and working down, also from left to right. And really, I'm just going to go in here, and I am using a red pencil. I recommend using graphite or a different colored pencil, anything that's going to work for you for whatever you need, whatever you're trying to accomplish. So I'm just going in and tracing it. And you do want to remember that no matter what pencil you're using, you want to be sure that you're using a light-handed touch. I'm going in fairly heavy, more so you guys can see at home. And I know I don't need to do all of this, it's just to illustrate how we would get our drawing started. Hope the lighting is okay for you guys at home. Now all these little frilly things that I'm adding in, that is a carnation, I believe. Let's flip up and see. Yep, that's a little frilly carnation that these little tiny marks are my darks, and this stuff will be, these little outer edges will be lights and medium tones. So I kind of got lost there. Did you see that? And a lot of these are leaves and foliage. And it is easy to get lost in a detailed drawing. So do take your time. It's worth it in the end. I know a lot of us, we get excited. We want to go in with color right away. I'm experiencing a bit of that myself right now. But it is in your best interest to take your time and make sure your drawing is perfect in exactly the way you want it before you get to this step. Because this is just transferring the image to your good paper, which means your drawing is done. You know, once your drawing is done and you're ready for color, this is what you're going to want to do. So you want to keep your paper surface as perfect as possible, you know, clean hands, no erasing, because that does change the texture of your paper. So, okay, and I'll show you what can happen when you flip. You don't necessarily, sometimes you may need to flip and see what's actually underneath on the working surface. But a lot of times you just need to make sure that you're drawing everything. So if you just kind of bring your paper up just a little bit, kind of pulling it tight, it lifts it up off of your page, your working surface page, just enough so you can see what you're doing without having to do this whole big motion. So if we get nice and close in on there, that's my contour. This is called a contour line drawing, by the way. It's really just the outline of what it is you're wanting to draw. But you know, you can see your contour line drawing and then what's directly behind it. So just pulling the page tight, everything else underneath disappears, release it, and it comes back. So from here, I'm going to turn my light off underneath so we can see just my surface. Sorry for the shaking. So from here, you know, let's pretend, we'll fast forward. This is my working surface, and it is a little bit darker than I would usually like, but such is life. So I'll be going through and erasing the entire thing. So everything will be more of, all my outline will be more of this value rather than this dark stuff up here and over here. And at that point, I can then go in with my colored pencils and get to drawing and have it, you know, filling in my colors, my values, my shadows, my lights, and that's really the fun part for me, is getting in there and applying color. So there you go, guys. I hope you beginner artists are able to follow a little bit, and I hope this helps. You know, have a really great reference drawing or reference image. Do the grid method, or if you're working on your drawing skills, do it freehand, and then transfer it to your final page and get to drawing. You know, get to coloring it in and have fun. So happy drawing, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.